All right, you guys, so it is Money Making Monday, and I want to talk about a play that I came to you guys and shared with you on Friday of this week. If you look at your screen, you will see it says 7:28 a.m. because that's how up and at 'em I was on Friday. I wanted to share this play because I thought that it was an outstanding one. So CAVA just beat its earnings recently, and after beating its earnings, it skyrocketed to approximately $147 per share, which was an all-time high. Now, in the 2 to 3 days following earnings, the stock tanked. It tanked so far that you see on your screen that it actually tanked beneath its 200-day moving average, which for me set out buy signals. So the first thing I wanted to do after I saw that it had beat its earnings was go check the news. I needed to know why this was happening, if there was a true catalyst for why CAVA stock was plummeting. And after researching it, I couldn't find anything other than stockholders or shareholders really just taking profits at that point. And so for me, being underneath the 200-day MA, already being on an upward trajectory, prior to its earnings, beating its earnings, and the news only substantiated for me how great of a stock this was, I went ahead and started to think about how I wanted to enter this position. So instead of buying shares of CAVA, I decided that I wanted to enter into an option. So what you see on your screen right now, this is the option that I chose to enter into. It expires on December 20th, as you can see. And I set a buy price or a limit price of $4.20. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with what a limit price is, that is me telling Robinhood how much I'm going to pay instead of Robinhood telling me how much I need to pay. So by setting a limit, what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the stock to come to me as opposed to jumping in, because I believed at the time that I wanted to enter this position that there could be some more potential downside, and there was. And so you will see that I wound up catching the trade or the option at $4.20, and we'll see what happens there. As if it couldn't get any better, I set my limit price at $4.20, and my average cost is actually $3.90. So I got it below 30 cents below my limit price, which is great. Now, as you can see, I bought it for $3.90, and already it is at $5.40. Now, I only bought one option, right? And I bought one option just because I just wanted to test the waters. I wanted to see if my hunch was correct, and as you can see, it was. So far we're up $150, which is not a lot of money, but you can see that $150 translates to 38.46%, basically 38.5%. Imagine if I had bought 10 of these contracts. Imagine if I had bought 20 of these contracts, exactly how much the profit would be at that particular point. Now, here's also the good news. This particular option doesn't expire until December 20th. So that means I have almost a month's worth of time, or more than a month's worth of time, technically, to continue earning profits on this. Or I can sell and walk away with my $150 scot-free. All right, so let me tell you guys exactly what we're looking at. So right now we're looking at CAVA. CAVA is that fluorescent green line that you see zigzagging in the center there. And it's sandwiched between its 50-day and its 10-day moving averages, right? Above that, at 144 plus, that would be the 200-day moving average, right? That's where we want to be. We want to get there, break through it, and stay above there. And so, as you can see, it did touch that 50-day moving average, but it has not broken through. But I'm pretty confident that it is going to break through. And so I think that I'm going to hold on to this option for a little bit longer. I'm a little nervous right now because I'm a little nervous of the market in general. I've been reading a lot about Warren Buffett and how he's been liquidating because he believes that a hurting is coming to the stock market pretty soon. And so I like to at least be aware and heed those warnings to some degree. So I may just take the money, even though it's only $150. It's $150 for not a whole lot of work, and I'm okay with that. And last but not least, before we get out of here, let's not forget that NVIDIA has earnings coming up on Wednesday, which could be a potential for a lot of upside. NVIDIA has been killing it in the market. NVIDIA not beating its earnings would be a complete and utter shock for me, but anything can happen in this market. Also, as I've mentioned in previous videos, that it's not just about it beating its earnings, it's also about the forward-moving guidance. That also can have a grave impact on the outcome of its earnings. So I'm going to go ahead because look at this on Friday. I told you guys that leading into earnings, you're going to see a lot of sell-off because a lot of people are worried about it meeting its earnings. So you're going to see a lot of profit taking in advance of the earnings. And so as you can see, NVIDIA dropped way beneath its 200-day moving average on Friday. And even though I typically like to wait, I had to take advantage of that. So we just went ahead and bought a couple of shares of NVIDIA, and we're just going to put a stop loss on those. And then we're just going to hold our horses until Wednesday before we invest more. But it was so far beneath that 200-day moving average that I could not resist. It was beneath all of its moving averages. I don't know why I'm just quantifying it by the 200-day, but it was down, and it was down bad. So again, Wednesday of this week we have earnings, and those earnings come out after market. I'm going to be watching that on Robinhood, because on Robinhood you can trade after hours. So as the earnings are announced, your hands are not tied. You do not have to wait until the following morning to invest. That is again why I prefer Robinhood, especially when it comes to earnings, because when those aftermarket earnings happen, and that typically happens in the mega cap stocks, you don't have to be left out of the fray waiting till the following day to invest and missing all of that sort of pre-market action. All right, you guys, so that is it for today's video. I will see you in the next one.